I found it. There you go, guys. I'm very excited today to be joined by a gal who has been such an inspiration to me over the last 8 years. I've shared this. I had the opportunity to chat with her on her chat session last week. And just, when you hear the word family, you have your beautiful biological family, but you also have your chosen family, those people that believe in you, more than you believe in yourself sometimes, those people you gravitate to when things are really happy and when things are really hard. And this beautiful woman is one of those people for me. I still remember the very first time I met her, the beautiful smile you see on her face now. I hope you can see it too in the live, through the live. That's the same face that greets me every time I see her. So I'm going to just throw it over to you, Karina. Please just say hello to everyone. And why don't you just introduce yourself to us?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to say, but that opening has just left me frozen. But you're always so amazing, and you're saying about the smiles. That's just your smile. I also look forward to when I see you, in the events once a month. I wish I could see you more, but I'm so blessed to see you online now. Well, my name is Karina. I've been married for almost 30 years now. Crazy how time flies. And I have 3 wonderful children, boys, and now I also have a daughter-in-law, which is also beautiful. And I love my family. And together we've been working our business. My background is social work. I used to do family counseling, all the type of counseling, you name it, I used to do it. I worked for the government for many years as well. And thank be to God, sometimes you see when life is happening as something negative, but then when you forward a few years, but then you look back, you're thankful to it because you don't know where that situation is going to take you. So something that has helped me to always push is the curiosity of what God has ahead for me, that the struggles have to come for the blessings to come, right?
I love it. So Karina, I failed to mention, she's also a wellness coach, independent Herbalife distributor like myself, with the goal of just helping people be the healthiest version of themselves. Our kind of motto is healthiest version of ourselves in mind, body, and soul. And I know that that's very much what you believe. You're such a giver, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to just watch how much you give to your community. That, of course, of your team and your family, but and beyond. Karina, what is it that gravitated you to, whether to the nutrition, sure, the business, like what intrigued you to this idea of entrepreneurship? Because in social work, you're working in kind of that government format, you're working in that kind of traditional 9 to 5, and this is doing what you do, taking the reins on your own business, like that's a big step. So how did that work for you? Is it something that you gravitated to right away, or was it a slower start for you?
Well, you are right. My schedule working for the government, you could say like, oh, it was the best. I'm not saying it wasn't, but at that time I consider it the best because it was from 8:30 to 4:30. I could literally roll over my bed and my office was there. So, everything was good. But then we started having a family and we decided for me to stay home, right? And as the kids started to grow up, we decided for me to go back to work. The people that I knew in the company, they wanted me back and they would help me to get back. But like I said, God had better plans. And I should say, I have been a wellness coach for 13 years and I absolutely love it. So how did I get there? When I was looking for a job or getting my resume ready to go back to what I used to do, my health started to deteriorate. So are you ready for this list? Because I'll tell you what I had. Okay, so it's a long list, guys. I'll probably take the whole interview. I'm just kidding. Right? So I had low iron, migraines daily, low blood circulation, constipation. Okay, I like to highlight on that because I'm not embarrassed to say, because we can talk about this. I
Yeah.
used to have a bowel movement once a month. Once a
Oh
month.
my gosh.
Once a month, right? And I can't believe I'm saying it with a smile because I don't anymore. I am proud to say I'm regular.
I love it.
But I went to doctors and they would tell me like, as long as you're going once a month, you're fine. So I knew there was a problem. I used to, one of my sons, when he was younger, he asked me, and that's when I was like, I had to do something about it. He's like, Mommy, how come all your tops are maternity tops? Because I used to be bloated. I used to have such a belly. And, I used to be a size 12. I went down to a size 6, but weight was never my concern. I never saw myself overweight at all, right?
Okay.
And I needed to focus on that. However, it was the migraines, the low iron, the constipation. I used to take sweat pills once a month so I could sweat. Okay.
Wow.
My cycles were super heavy, aside from having fibroids, but then the fibroids shrunk. Oh, how? I'll tell you after. And I don't know, like there was so much. My iron was low because of a condition that I have, but the doctors would never be able to bring it high. Through coming across this beautiful company, everything started to balance out. So when I reached out to the company with my son Jacob. We actually searched in the computer natural cleanse, because all the doctor said was surgery, 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 right? So I said, back home, my mom used to do digestive cleanse. Let's try it. I haven't done it in many years. So the name of the company popped up, Herbalife. I reached out to them. They connected me to my amazing coach, Irina. And then she got me on the products and she said, you know what, maybe you should focus on your weight. And I said, girl, I'm fine with my weight. Like there's nothing wrong with my weight. She's like, maybe you should focus. I'm like, I just want to cleanse. I just want to cleanse. I just want to cleanse. Right. So anyways, she worked with me. She got me to do the cleanse. Little did I know that taking care of my health took away inches from me, because nobody ever tells you, or at least nobody ever told me, that the fat accumulated inside the veins, it affects your circulation, your pressure. The fat and junk inside your intestinal walls, it affects everything, right? So, and then before the monthly cycle, we women, some get a little off the wagon. And I am proud to say I used to be one of them, right? Because once I got my nutrition all under control, my life completely changed. Everything changed. That people were asking me like, what's up with you? My family would give me stuff to be awake, to be with energy. I would tell my boys when I would pick them up at school, guys, mommy's gonna close her eyes at the red light. When it turns green, you have to wake up mommy. That's how tired I used to be. You have no idea. And one time I realized, another thing that made me realize is, I guess I started cleaning the house, but I never realized when I fell asleep. When I woke up, I was cleaning the dresser. I was on my knees with the cloth on my hand. I woke up like that. My kids were little and I was like, what happened? So it was a pill that I had received. So I had so many pills that I had to take, and I was also borderline diabetic. So all these things but I had a pill for everything. So when I decided to do something natural and I started taking it, 3 months down the road, my doctor said everything was great, but she got mad at me because she asked me if I was taking what she gave me. And I said, no, I took none of it. And, but anyways, my life has been amazing. I am proud to say I am 51 years old right now, but the energy that I have now did not have 13, 15, 20 years ago. I ran a salsa fit class. I love it. I work out every Monday with my girlfriends and I love it. I go for walks. I wrestle with my boys. We tickle each other to the point that we but yeah, they bring me down every now and then, but I can hold it longer than what I used to, but my life has completely changed. And people have asked me, what do you do? What do you do? And in helping people, telling them what I did with no secret, it turned into a business, because I wanted to help people. And it was a good friend of mine that said, silly, you're just sharing your products. She goes, stop giving them away, turn it into a business. You're a stay-home mom. No, I love people. I might go back. And I didn't see it. She made me see the vision. And again, it's been 13 years that I've been helping people, and the gratifying, rewarding feeling you get, I would never exchange it for anything, because although through counseling, I help people, you weren't able to change their life the way we are able to with this amazing company called Herbalife, because through that, it also gave me, thank God, the opportunity to stay home with my boys, even though they had grown up. I mean, why not stay home? So I was able to volunteer at the school, go on the school day trips. I got to see so many things in Toronto, in Canada, that I was never able to. I volunteer at the church. I work with moms. I run from home. I do this all the time. Got to meet you. If I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have been able to meet you and your wonderful. So all of this is such a blessing, and I am so thankful for it.
I love it. I love it so much. And sorry, one sec. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. I think I'm still here.
No problem.
I'm here. This is what happens when you try to avoid a fraudulent call. Trying to end a call. Let me see if I can get myself back on this here. Oh, my camera's off. That's why. There we go. Little tease. I was trying to hang up on a likely fraudulent call, and instead I answered it and hung up on you. But no, I love that. I love I did not know that you got connected to Irina from Herbalife. That's so interesting. What a beautiful kind of love story of connection that was. You guys are such a dynamic duo. And I realized right off the top, I didn't get you to share your drinking. We always share our tea. So what's your beverage of choice right now?
Well, I'll be honest with you, right? I made myself a nice hot tea with aloe, lemon tea with cranberry aloe. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I got nervous about this call. Of course, I'm in the house and I choose to wear a thick black sweater. So time to change. I made myself a nice ice cold lemon tea with cranberry aloe. And I did put my collagen and my peach mango drink. So I love refreshing. So cheers.
Cheers. I got peach tea and actually peach tea with lime lemon lift off today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lift off soon because I have to do salsa fit. So I already have it. Yeah. So
I love it. Lift off, a nice natural energy boost for those of us wondering what lift off is. Scrap the unhealthy stuff and go for a better option. I love it. Ding. So Salsa Fit, what got you inspired to start Salsa Fit? Is that something you were doing prior? Have you always been interested and fascinated by dance, or was that something that came in later?
No, this is the beauty about this company. I'm telling you, it's like when I think about this opportunity that I was given with the company, it's like I know we say we are number one. But people think like, well, of course she's got to say that because she works there. But no, guys, like really, we are number one because we give everything. We inspire people with everything. So I'm Latin American. I was born in Peru. I came to Canada when I was 9. But I grew up with a family that when we do parties, we dance. So I love dancing. When I started my health and wellness journey with Herbalife and I started to feel completely amazing, then of course the company says it's not all about nutrition. Nutrition is 80%, but activity and workout is 20. And I was like, man, you got me there. Are you serious? Everything was going good, And then I asked him, so what else? And then Dr. Luigi actually said, Dr. Luigi. Dr. He said, well, what do you like doing? And I said, oh, well, I love dancing. He goes, well, do something with your dancing. So then I told a friend, She's like, yeah. She calls me Angie. That's my maiden name. And she's like, Angie, well, just dance in your basement. And I'm like, not by myself, my husband, my children, when I watch them. And they're like, oh my God. So she came, and then another friend came. And then, of course, another friend got jealous because we didn't invite her, but she's helping me, you know? So then my basement got filled up because then my husband joined the business too. He was my guinea pig because I didn't know what I was doing. So he started talking to people. He's like, oh, why don't you join my wife? So all these ladies started coming to my basement. And then we rented a community center. We outgrew the community center. And then we went to a fit club. And now we're at the Decathlon in Vaughan. But I love dancing. So what the company said is, there's this special lady in the company that always says, there's 3 areas that you need to take care of in your life: your faith, right? Your family, and your Herbalife, right? Your faith life, your family life, and your Herbalife. But they have it all down packed, right? So one leg, it's like a 3-legged stool. If one is missing, it doesn't work. So when they said you need to start something active, the dancing came along. And I'm not a professional dancer. Henry's my husband, for you guys that are watching. He's like, oh, great. Now we have like a ton of ladies dancing like you. And I think it's so awesome. Because it's funny, because when I see a lady dancing with me for so many years, I'm like, why is she dancing like that? It's because I dance.
So funny. I love it. Hey, I've seen you dance. You're a beautiful dancer. So Henry, I said she's a beautiful dancer. So you mentioned this before. You have, it's I love that, like, you were just inspired to do something that you love. And I love that Dr. Luigi said that. And it's one of the things I talk to a lot about my team is, if there's something that you just want to, that you enjoy doing, it makes everything, like, the whole motto behind what we do is fun, simple, magical. And you just proved how you can make it fun, right? And simple, because you're just doing what you already love to do. I love that you touched on that Henry was your guinea pig, started doing the business with you, but you've had, like, your whole family working together at this. Like, how did that go about? How is, people always say to Jamie and I, like, well, how do you work together as a couple? Same question to you. Maybe we'll start there. How is it for you working together within the business? Like, do you guys have different visions and stuff? Have you aligned that vision? Do you have different styles of working?
It's interesting that you say that, because we've been doing this for 13 years, like I said, but I started it. I didn't start it as a business, but then my friend made me realize that. And at that time we had another business going, and Henry at that time, he gave me, like, he's like, okay, you can have this little desk in the corner. And he had a huge mahogany desk all around, like, in the corner. He used to wear a suit. And I was like so excited on my tiny little desk, a tiny desk. And I literally put, because, they always tell us that don't promote like Herbalife outside, because you don't want to steal from other distributors, right? So I had a little sign on the front. We were like a storefront, and a little corner, it said Herbalife Independent Distributor. So this lady walks in and she's like, oh, I'm here for help. And Henry's like, oh, yes, that's me. And she's like, what do you do? So Henry said what he did. And she's like, oh, no. And I was just like, just looking, because I'm like, well, she's not coming for me. She's coming for the guy, right? And she's like, no, I saw natural, like, help with wellness. And I was like, oh, me? And Henry's like, okay. And right there and then she says, you don't have to explain to me. I already know what I want. I used to take this in my country, but now I'm new in Canada, blah, blah, blah. I did the whole assessment, to do it properly. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I take it all. I have $300. I was like, wow. So when she left, Henry's like, what happened? He goes, she wasn't even here like 20 minutes. I said, I know. He goes, what'd you do? He goes, the assessment, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, you got to explain to me. I'm like, I don't know. So my coach invited me to an event, and Henry went, because she says, come, they're going to explain the business plan. I'm like, oh, no, numbers. That hurts my head. I said to Henry, please do me a favor. Come with me. When they explain the numbers, you can explain it to like in a kindergarten level to me because that's how I'm going to get it. He's like, oh my God, I don't want to go, blah, blah. I'm like, please just pay attention to that part. And when we come home, you explain it to me. So of course we go on the Saturday, they don't explain the marketing plan, right? On the Sunday, I had to be at the church because I was in charge of the children at that time. And the altar servers. And I was like, Henry, I can't go on Sunday. Can you go for me? He's like, are you kidding me? Blah, blah, blah. He went, he's so good. He went and he came back. And you know what he said? He says, that's it. I'm like, oh no, what happened? We're going to close our company. We're going to close the business. This company has it. Absolutely amazing. We're done with what we're doing. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my gosh, why didn't I go? He goes, no, no, no. I see it. They have it all. They have it. We don't have it. This company is going to give us everything that we have been wanting. So we made an agreement that he was going to wait 3 months to assess, to grow, and then we will decide. I don't think he heard me, or maybe his English is not very good looking, because he came home 3 days later early and he said, oh, I closed. I'm like, what happened? He goes, I closed the company. I'm like, oh, I said, why? You know people? He goes, I closed the company. So he shut it down, cold turkey. Just like that.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I don't advise, what do you call it? Disclaimer.
Yes, disclaimer. I love
and
it.
I was like, oh my God. But you know what? He's a crazy man in a good way, good loving way. And he knows I mean it well. But whatever he's decided all the time, it's like, oh my gosh, you're a nut, but let's go for it. Go. And so he says, if I don't focus on this alone and I still have the other company, I won't give it my 100%. So as we did it, we qualified for our first vacation to a cruise, which I couldn't go to. So Henrito, who's 22 now, at that time he was 9, he went with daddy. Oh, why am I going to go with daddy alone? I was like, you're going to have fun. Because Daniel and Jacob were in high school, so he couldn't go. They couldn't go. And I had to stay with him, right? So Henrito came home. He's like, oh, it's unbelievable. He sounded like Mark Hughes. You're never going to believe this, right? And I was like, perfect. What's going on? He goes, Mom, we went to Bahamas. Not only that, they took us to Atlantis. Mom, are we rich? Because a couple of weeks before, we had watched a documentary on Atlantis. It's like mermaid land, right? And I'm like, Mommy, can we go there? I'm like, guys, one day when we're rich, we'll go, So Herbalife not only took them to Bahamas, but they had a surprise for them that the cruise took them to Atlantis. And he's like, Mom, we're rich. We're in Atlantis. I was like, oh. And on top of that, they gave him and Henry each a $500 gift card to spend in the cruise. This kid went nuts. He says, Mom, I've never played so many video games, and I still have his gift he bought me. He was so proud. He bought me a silver chain with a cross and earrings. He brought his brother's gift. He goes, $500 in 3 days. Like, we go crazy with $500 in 3 days. Imagine a 9-year-old.
I get excited by $20.
I know,
$5, $2.
So when the boys saw that, they started taking, they would take for lunch the protein bars and stuff, and the friends would ask them, and then they started bringing boxes to the school. And I'm like, what are you guys, this isn't allowed? It's like, Mom, we're sharing with our friends, whatever, right? And then the teachers would start asking, and then my sons saw the opportunity as they were young, and they wanted to make their own money in high school, which was fine. And when Daniel started, my oldest one, he started university, he took it more seriously. When he graduated in university, he wore his button, and the dean congratulated him. He said, how? In front of all the whole congregation. And then he finished school, and he said, he graduated, and he said, I'm going to do Herbalife full time. We're like, get in your career. That was one. And then I'll tell you something. That was one. Then Jacob started university. He's like, 3rd year. He's like, Mom, I'm going to do this. I'm like, Jacob, finish. Mom, please. Then Henrito started university. He's like, Mom, we want to do this. And I was like, oh my goodness, you guys need to work on your careers. And you know what they said to me? They're like, Mom, every parent that has their own business, they work so hard to leave it for their children so their children could take it on. And many of the children don't want to do that. Here we are, you have a business that it's amazing and we love it and we want to be part of it. And you're not allowing us. And I was like, oh man, your psychologist really working. So I was like, oh, how do we say no, right? How do we say no? So we did give them a target and we said, okay, we're not going to say no, because at the end of the day, the sad reality is that the majority of people finish their career and they don't end up working in there. Or as life goes on, they change it, right? Look at me, right? But anyways, we gave them a target, said, listen, if you show us how serious you are. If you're really serious about it, these are the goals. The first month, this is what you got to do. Second month, this is what you got to do. And then the third month, you got to be world team. Guess what they did? They did it, right? Okay. Can't say anything. So we work it. We've been working together. We became a team. You asked me about Henry and I. Yes. And now it's not just Henry and I, it's the 5 of us, right? It's like 5 ideas, right? At the end, we learned to become a team because we're a family that live together, right? But everybody's got their own head. But we had to agree in becoming a team, right? To learn to accept each other's ideas and not judge them or not put them aside. And why? Because that's what Herbalife teaches, that personal development is so key, that it taught us to even respect and encourage each other, not to bring our ideas down, but to see how we incorporate it to fit each other's likes, right? Because like you said earlier, growing this business is about what you love doing, right? Bringing people together and sharing health with them. So the boys started in my garage. They made those weight balls from balls with full of sand. I don't know, they made all this stuff, but I gotta give it to them. They were so creative. They inspired me so much. And we butted head a lot. And I'll tell you, after all this past 3 years of craziness that the world went through, Henry and I, we sat down and we were about to go our own ways in the sense of like business. Okay, no more restrictions. You go this way, you go this way. Let's get the world. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. So 3 years being locked up, I can say that we finally become a team. We've been finally be able to become a team along with the boys, and we all do something different, but towards the same goal, towards one vision, right?
I love it. And I think that that's so important. People ask the same thing, is you have to have the same vision, and you have to work as a team, and some people's strengths complement other people's strengths and other people's weaknesses or what have you. I always say Jamie's the kind of like the Henry, like, let's just go. And I'm like, wait, logistics. But it's good because we can kind of create that balance of taking the leaps of faith, which is where, like, for us, the nutrition club happened. Heck, that's where the business happened, because of what I'd learned from him. And I know that there's a lot that he's learned from me as well. And he may or may not admit it. We'll see. I don't know. But I love that. And I feel like I know the answer to this one already, but I think you already touched on it a little bit. But we'll start with personal development. Clearly, all of what you had been putting in yourselves was being exposed to your kids. So in an obviously beautiful way. I think I've told you the story. I still remember one of my very first event. We had little baby Lincoln in the back of the hotel room, and I'd gone to the washroom and I saw Daniel in the hallway. And I gosh, I can't even remember how old he was. I want to say like 18. Like, he was just a young gent. And I'm this 30-year-old crossing through, and I just heard the way he was coaching. He was working, and he was so patient. He was such a beautiful listener. He had so much confidence and courage. And I just was really taken aback by that and very impressed by that. And to me, it was just a perfect demonstration of how I see how all of you operate. And it was something for me to strive to be honest with you, because I didn't really know how it all worked and all I knew was I wanted to help people, but I didn't really know how. But the power of mindset, I know, has been so pivotal in my journey. And I can see now how that reflects in so many different ways. So how has personal development really impacted your journey with yourself, with your family, with your team? How do you guys incorporate that into everything for yourselves, if that makes sense?
Oh, um, it hasn't, it's been challenging, to be honest, because we've been brought up in, in the faith, right?
Mhm.
And when you can have the faith and you can have knowledge of God, but it's when you have a transformation, it's different. But that transformation doesn't only just come like from praying and reading the Bible and going to church, but you gotta do your share so he can work his magic, right? So the personal development, and that's why we love the company, because when Henry and I decided to we were discerning if the company was for us. We went to an event which is called Extravaganza, right? um, at the very end, he said, Dan Waldron said,
Oof.
if anything that you have received all this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you've taken notes, you know what he said? He says, none of this will work if your life with God is not in order. Oh my gosh, we were on our stairs and we were crying. There was a standing ovation, and Henry and I, we looked at each other. We're like, this is for us, right? And why? Because when we started learning about the company, personal development, how do you become better about you? Like, first, what I learned in my own personal development, forgiving myself. Forgiving myself for me to look at and heal, for me to look at others different, right? I'm better.
Mhm.
So with my children, personal development has helped us to not be snappy, but consider each other's opinion. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's like, that's okay, no problem. So that's how you think, okay?
Mhm.
You know? How about, and then because we're also strong on personal development, how about, what do you think of this? And they know we each know what we're each doing to each other,
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, then it'll be like one of those, we're like, well, mom, how about we do this with, oh, you're amazing, mom. I'm like, oh, but we're so respectful with each other. And then we just end up laughing,
Yeah.
right? And personal development has helped me to see the beauty in the other person, and
Mhm.
also to see that if there's something, the reality is that we're all annoying in one way or another. And when we see something annoying on the other person, you're like, "Ugh," right? Uh, that's something you need to work on
Yeah.
yourself, right? So if this is bugging me, then you dig, then you pray about it. It's like, okay, I guess I need to change, work on that on me. It's bugging me because I haven't been able to deal with it yet. And personally speaking, from experience, when I have done that, and then I see the person still acting on it, I'm honestly like, man, if I could help you get out of that, all in God's timing. But it's just, and then with person, and sorry, I'm just like, so many things. I just get so pumped when it
I
talk
know you do. I love it.
about the company, about the opportunity that is brought us closer. And I always say, and we taught the team to always say, thank God for Herbalife, because
Mhm.
you always ask for something amazing, and he gives you what what your heart desires, right?
Mhm.
When it's always good for you and your family. So he's given us, when I asked for something healthy, he brought Herbalife. When I asked for something good for my kids, he brought them into this,
Mhm.
and for I asked for unity in the family, like, yeah, we're all working together. And I honestly, I'll be honest, when I haven't seen them in the events, like one event I started crying and I sent them a video. I'm like, where are you guys here?
Oh, it's amazing though. Like, I love what you're saying too, with like just the impact of personal development to the point of ownership, like the opportunity to say, like, if I'm feeling a strain or a pull or something that you're saying is bothering me, that self-reflection is so important. And I love that component of it. And I think it's probably pretty obvious to most people when you're speaking, but what is your why? Why do you do all this? Why did you choose it? And what is your why, my friend?
You're getting me with that. Yeah, I knew you were
I
gonna
know
get
it. But
well,
this is the power of the why. We know, right?
I know. You know what? For those that maybe don't know, the why is like, what's the reason why you do certain things, right? Why do you want to get ahead? Why do you want to become better? So my why has changed many times. You got me thinking when I interviewed you last week and you said it's me. And then I was like, I never thought of me, because we put ourselves last. But I do think of me a lot. However, my why has always changed. My why was always my kids, like being able to provide and being there for them. But they're grown men. They're grown men. And I'm not saying they don't need me anymore, but it's just different, right? So then I thought, is my husband my wife? Henry, I love you, but you're not my wife.
I like it.
I was like, like I'm his wife. One thing, guy, you know. But then recently, I'll be honest with you, my parents became my wife. My parents are getting older, and every now and then, my mom, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Every now and then my mom still works and I don't want her to work anymore. I want to take them away. And Hindu and I, we've been talking about this for the past month. I said, I want to take my parents away. I want to grab your parents and my parents, buy them tickets, and we're all going away. I went on a pilgrimage last year to Europe with Henry, and we said, why couldn't we bring our parents? Why? We were able to do it for us, but why? Oh, because he said, obviously, I'm like, I know there's expenses, but I don't want to be limited. I want to spoil my parents. I want to, they need something that's like, here, let me pay your mortgage or your rent. Here you go, like, hey, you know what? Let's go away. My goddaughter just went away a couple of months ago with her whole family. She went away with her mother-in-law, with her parents and her aunt and uncle. And I'm like, why can't I do that? That woke me up. And I'm like, and my mom wrote to me something, and I haven't had a chance to visit as much as I can. And I did, I don't know if I said it, but I thought about it, but I'm sure I texted her. I said, Mom, I'm working really hard right now, more than what they're used to seeing me, because I'm working harder. I'm so proud of me. I'm working so hard. Like I'm always kicking butt,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I'm working hard because I want to be able to give you what I haven't been able to, and they're getting older. And I want them one day when the Lord calls them, that I'll be able to say, it's like, yeah, I took them to Holy Land, or I took them to Niagara without worrying about it, and like I said, although the company has blessed us with trips on a yearly basis for those that qualified, they're amazing. But I said to Henry, I'm thankful to God for that, but I don't want to be limited to having to wait to get a free trip. I want to be able to have the money and the control and the luxury to say, okay, we want that trip, yes, but I want to go here, 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 and there, and they become my why. They become my why because my dad is away in Peru right now, and I wish I want to pay his stay, but it's not lack of love, and it's not, I don't want to say it's lack of money. I want to say it was lack of me kicking butt, you know, you know what I mean? So I'm proud of
Absolutely.
me. Yeah, I'm proud of me because I don't have that mentality anymore, because I've changed. And honestly, I know you're going to ask me what book I'm reading, but I'm going to beat you to it because I'm not finished reading it, but I'll show you, but I'll have to, my dog ate the cover because we all do personal development in this house.
I love it.
So
The dog actually has homework.
literally, so he decided, so you won't know what book it is, but it's called Traction, okay, by Jen Wickman, okay?
Okay.
And I'll be honest, I haven't finished reading the book, all right, but it really changed me. I listened to Jim Rohn, Mark Hughes, which is so inspirational. I've listened to so many great speakers, and they've all inspired me in different ways. But for some reason, like everything in God's timing, I started reading this book, and it's like, yeah, why haven't I done this? Why did I wait so long? Why? And then a lot of things that he's saying is like having a clear vision, being able to express it, right? Being able to be, what do you want? And that's what I want. I want to be able to freely provide for my parents without having to look at the account or having to use a credit card and then wondering how you're going to pay it. You know,
Yeah.
I want to be able to just hear mom and dad, whatever, here. And they're my why right now.
I love it. You mentioned a little bit earlier on, and a couple other the other things, but one thing that you mentioned at the top that we haven't really brought up yet is you, over the last couple of years, had another challenge thrown at you, pretty big one. And would you say that, I'm such a believer, and I think I think you kind of said something along these lines before, is life's going to throw you those challenges and we kind of look back and see our growth and all of that. Do you feel, maybe if you're comfortable sharing with us kind of what you went through and what got you through your recent journey, your recent challenging journey that you smashed out of the park?
Oh, praise God. Yes. I was and it was funny that you mentioned that, to be honest with you, because I wasn't sure if you were gonna, we talked about, I wasn't sure if you were gonna touch it. I was just reading on it last night. And I said, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, I believe, or maybe at the end of 19, I'm not sure. But I had my surgery in January. And what all I prayed was to God was, I don't understand stage level, and I don't want to know, because if I wanted to understand, obviously I would put an effort. What level, what this, that, the diameter, I don't know, all that stuff, right? I just know it was breast cancer, right? And I said in my prayer, I said, Lord, I don't understand and I don't want to know details, and it's all gonna sound like another language to me. All I need is when the doctor comes to see me after the surgery, just give me a sign for him to say, you're cancer free, you're good to go, there's no cancer in your body, something like that, you know. And then to me, I'm at peace. So anyways, they did a lumpectomy, right? And then I was still sleeping, and Andrea, my goddaughter, who's also my business partner, she used to work at the hospital, and I said, I hope that you're there. It was, but I don't know what time they come. I said, I don't know, but anyhow, it just so happened that there were so many people visiting me for a day surgery. Imagine how dramatic Latinos are.
I love it.
We had like a lineup for a day surgery.
So good.
The next thing is like, it's so funny. And she was sitting beside me, and I was dozing on and off. And then look at this gift, miraculous gift. The doctor showed up at that time when she was there.
Love
He
it.
tapped me on the foot, and he calls me Angela, because that's, again, I'm Angela Karina. So I go by my second name, but the people know call me by Angela, right? You're free to call me whatever you want. And it doesn't matter. And and he tapped me on the foot. He said, Angela, we're not gonna talk. Angela, he tried to, I'm like, oh, doctor, yeah. Okay, we're not gonna talk right now. We're gonna see you in the follow-up. But all I want to tell you is there's no cancer in your body. You're cancer free. You're good to go. Those are the words he told me.
What? Crazy.
I was like half asleep, but I couldn't believe it. And as soon as he said that, I was just like knocked out. I don't remember anything else until I got home, you know. But I did have to go through chemotherapy. I did have to go through radiation. My hair fell off. You know, I looked like the cartoon Avatar, you know, and I have a picture of that. If you guys want to go on my Facebook, I put a picture of the Avatar and me, same.
Beautiful.
And you know what? I was interviewed while I was going through that. I never wore a wig. It was so hot. It was so hot to wear one, and I looked pretty weird with a wig. It was a straight wig. I guess maybe if it was curly, I don't know. But somebody interviewed me and said, "Can you show us the real thing and not smile?" I'm like, "What?" It's like, yeah, because you know, people want to see the pain. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, but I don't know, you want me to cry? Like, I can't force that, it's, I don't
Yeah.
know. So anyways, why do I give it credit to? Who do I give credit to? God, because there's a word in the Bible that says, smile always, rejoice always, no matter what, rejoice. That you may be going through struggle. So I would tell people, listen, you go on a plane, on a train, what do you bring? You bring a book, right? So you can be entertained, whatever, to enjoy the ride. So if I have been given this gift to go through this, then I might as well enjoy the ride and make it fun, right? And how do I bring people closer? And I was like, oh, I'll bring people closer to God. Oh, I'll bring people closer to my Herbalife business, because now I know that I can take my products through all of this. And I was able to. And I knew that there was something better ahead of me. Was it tough? Of course. See my hair fall. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna cry my eyes out when I had no hair, but I'll tell you, I started dying of laughter because I knew it was the day that it was falling. So I was showering, I was combing my hair. You know how much hair came out? Like
Probably a lot.
tons of hair on the floor. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I put my robe and I closed my eyes and I'm like, Lord, give me the strength, please, because I'm scared. And then I look in the mirror and I still had lots of hair.
I love it.
Oh
You
my
are such a beautiful fighter. Like I remember seeing your posts on social media as you were going through your journey and you're like running Zoom workouts, taking a quick pause, someone popping in. Like you just are so full of love and so full of life and so full of passion. It's so incredibly inspiring, and I feel so blessed to have gotten to know you. And what a beautiful like lesson that is in anything, because all far too many of us are going through and go through health challenges. And you're right, it's so easy to go downwards, and people have this assumption of how we're supposed to behave when we get faced with something like this. And being able to handle it with humor and grace and laughter, like what a gift. And do you feel like a lot of this, I mean, it's obvious you're a spiritual person, and that plays such a big role in who Karina is. Do you feel like the person 13 years ago would have been able to go through that the same in the same headspace as the Karina of 2020 or 2020 or 2019 to 2021?
Oh, no, not at all. Like the Karina from 2019, I don't know that girl, you know? I don't know that girl because I tell people, like, after I read a lot, people sent me so many books and I listened to so many things. And I've always been like smiling and humorous and happy. But after I realized I learned so much going through the chemo, my treatments, me getting better, I learned that I learned that I was depressed. I always felt lonely. And I didn't know that. I knew I was going through some pain, resentment or whatever, but I never realized how much that had affected me to the point that I was going through depression and I had no clue. And I was never diagnosed. But all the symptoms, everything that I read, I just diagnosed myself to what I had before, which never
Mm.
realized led me to what led me to. And everybody will go through different things. And now one day I remember I started crying. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it. Okay, so what do I do? So I started forgiving, letting go, like letting go, letting go, letting go. And I started naming person at a time. And I made it into a prayer. It's like, okay, I don't know that many people. I mean, I have a few people I need to forgive, but not that I really want to. Do you want me to?
Yeah.
But as the names popped up too on my head, I was starting to, forgiving, releasing, and blessing. And it's like the weight started coming out, started coming out, started coming out. And I still see those people, but I see them different. I see them with eyes of mercy, and, like they don't know better, right? Because if we all knew, or we realized at the moment how we're hurting the other ones, especially our loved ones, we wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not taking away from the fact that some people may be aware of it, but I know the people that are surrounding me, they're not, and I'm done many things to hurt others, but just cleaning everything that you keep that's hurtful and resentful, empty it. And I see things different now. Okay, let it slide, Okay, so though people don't include me, boo-hoo, I have time for me now. It's like,
It's
oh,
true.
oh my, I don't have this friend anymore. Okay, God is opening the door for a new friend. It's
Yep.
like you just learn to detach. But what I do want to highlight before we finish is that when I was going through chemo, the doctors wanted me to show them everything that I was taking,
Mhm.
like everything, supplements, what I use to take care of my skin, everything. So I brought a big bag, like I brought a big shopping bag, and they're like, "What the heck, girl? What are you doing?" So they took away everything except my my shake, my smoothie, my Formula One, my meal replacement, because with chemo you lose the taste, and sometimes you don't get hungry. And they said, "This this is them." And I was like, "Have you been to my events?" They're like, "This will give you the nutrients and minerals that your body needs per meal." And I'm like, "I know." And they're like, and they said, "Well, if you're not gonna, in case you don't eat for a day or you feel nauseous, you can have one shake." I'm like, "Perfect." And then they made me choose between my H3O and my collagen. And I told them why at H3O, hydrating, vitamin C, electrolytes. My collagen, come on, collagen, CNE and the Verisol and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're like, "Okay, you can choose one." I'm like, "Give me the collagen." And she's like, "Is it really that good?" I'm like, "You have no idea. You can take my H3O for now." But so she let me collagen and my Formula One. But I'll tell you what, she took away 1,000,000%. She took away my aloe. And you know why? Not because it's bad, but you know what she said? Do you want to know what she said? She said, "This is so good. It's so full of antioxidants. This thing fights for you." So she goes, "Sorry, but to tell you about the chemo, we're putting, stuff that your body, but it helps what you have. It's going to help get rid of what you have, but what you had. But it's a process that we need to go through." And sorry, let me correct myself, because with the time I started chemo, I no longer had cancer, but she says it was a procedure, like a protocol to do it anyways, right? She goes, "For what you had, we need to do the chemo, and the chemo is good for what you had, but you can't, it's really like," she said, literally, she says, "It's junk," right? And the aloe is going to recognize it as junk and is going to push it away, and we don't need it to be pushed. She goes, "But I'll tell you something, Angela." And she's like this: "As soon as you're done your chemo, the day you finish your chemo, you chug this thing. You chug it. You
I
chug it."
love it.
And I was like, "Yes," right? And then I showed her all my facial products, because when I talk to people about the facial products, they're like, "Oh no, I've been through this." And then I'm like, "I've had chemo, I had radiation." I would keep my mouth shut because I'm like, "Okay, I don't know, like, I don't know the area, right? Like, I'm not going to touch it." But now, guess what? I can say like, "That's okay, girl, because so did I. You can take it. I was good. You're good." So my doctor said, she looked at all my facial products, my shampoo, my conditioner, my aloe gel, my body cream, everything. You know what she said? She's like, "Oh, girl, you take those and more." She didn't take anything away from me at all. She goes, "This is good. Vitamin C and E." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is all base. Dermatologist tested, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Yes." She's like, "Where do you get this?" I said, "You're looking at her. You want to buy something?"
I love it. I was gonna say, I would imagine that that conversation had to come up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what it like, how much confidence does that give you? And it's true, right? Every part of our journey, every part of our story allows us the opportunity to perhaps help somebody down the line, or more than one somebody, that we didn't have the opportunity to authentically and truthfully connect to before. And like anything, everyone who's watching, disclaimer, always talk to if anything you've learned, talk to your doctors about anything. Herbalife doesn't cure anything, but it is good nutrition, and antioxidants, yes, are going to fight the Jesus out of that stuff. So that's amazing. But thank you so much, Karina, for being with me today. And if you could leave like one piece of wisdom, one piece of advice with people watching or listening today, like what would you leave with them?
Let's see, I didn't. Just give me a second.
Or do you have a quote that really resonates with you, or one of the most powerful lessons you've learned, or one of the lessons you've learned in your journey so far? Anything. There's no right answer.
So I would just say a couple of things. Forgive, right? But we're never gonna forget. But every time you remember, continue forgiving and give yourself a chance, because many times we're the last ones we think of, right? And take care of that little girl, that little boy inside of you, and give that person a chance, that be it nutrition, faith, or forgiveness. Take care of that person inside of you. And the quote that always got me going was from the Bible. It says, "For the Lord has great plans for you, to prosper and to succeed." And I was like, yes, okay, I'm not gonna miss that. I'm not gonna miss that, because he's got great plans for me. So he's got great plans for you too. So keep on going, keep pushing. The waves are there, but jump over them, because once you jump over them, it's pleasant and joyful.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I love you so much. If you're watching this and you want to come and hang out with us on the 25th of February, we're going to be hanging over to Karina's hood. So reach out to Karina, reach out to me. We'll get you hooked up. As you can imagine, the community we keep, and I hope you can see today, is pretty awesome. So love you so much. I'm so impressed by you daily. You're such a gift to this world. Love you.
Love you. Take care. God bless you.
Bye, honey. I'm on the wrong screen. I'll get there eventually with ending this naturally. There we go.